They say that beauty fades with time, but today it lasts beyond the grave. Being half dead doesn't mean that you still can't be glam, right? So today I'm going to show you how to achieve a glamorous look in your present life and how to translate that into the afterlife as well. First things first, we want to neutralize our face, so that is what I am doing here. And this is just really going to help our makeup go on more opaque and be less work for us and use less product. If you want more information on color correcting, I do have a video linked below. Before we get started on the skull, I do want to lay down a foundation, and I am using full coverage. It is important to use full coverage because the skull side is going to be so opaque and bold, it can easily overpower the look, and using a full coverage foundation is going to help bring balance back to our face, and also exaggerating everything on the glam side is also going to help achieve that balance as well. Time to move on to the skull, which personally is my favorite part of this look. So today I'm using a white cream product because I really wanted to show you guys that you can still come up with an awesome skull look without having face paints on hand. So I'm just going to go back and forth between blending with my fingers and a brush until I get that desired consistency. I don't want this to be a stark white look because I want to be able to add dimension and depth to the look, and you can always go ahead and go back later and build up more opaqueness if you wish. Moving on to outlining our shapes, I prefer using a very thin angled brush, and I like using a matte black shadow with this because it's going to give you the most control, and then using the eyeshadow is going to make it so easy for you to correct any mistakes that you have. Since this is a glamorous skull after all, I am not going to stick to the typical shapes of where these hollowed out areas are going to be. I'm still going to stay true to the areas of the hollowed out areas, but I'm just going to add more of like a whimsical feel and more of a geometrical feel to the shaping with this. And this is where you can get creative and really make the design your own. And just a tip to throw out there, make sure you're feeling along your own face as you go so you can feel where the hollowed areas should be so everything looks nice and proportional. Now it is time to fill in the hollow areas, and I'm just using a black cream product to do that. And I'm filling in basically everything but my eye area because I'm going to want to add depth and dimension to that, so I don't want it to be so opaque. Taking a concealer brush, I'm just going to go over those areas where I just put the black cream product to make sure everything is nice and smoothed out. So when we set it with a powder, everything will go on nice and even. Taking what is ever left over on the concealer brush, I'm just going to work on blending that up into my hairline. I love doing this because I feel like it really pulls the look together and it gives more dimension. It's time to work on the eye, and I'm just filling in the areas with that cream product where I know I want it to be super opaque and hollowed out looking. And then I'm just going to go ahead and work with the cream product to get the desired transparency for the rest of the eye look. We're not going to let being half dead stop us from still being glamorous, so it was really important to me to just sit there and think about areas that we would normally define on ourselves, so that's why I really had the brow bone stick out, and I just wanted to make that super bold. And if you do have any mistakes, you can easily correct it by just wiping it away and then just going back in with either the white or black depending on what area it is. It's super easy to fix working with these cream products. To set the cream product, I'm now taking a flat shader brush with a matte black shadow, and this is great because it's going to add more intensity to the look. Time to bring in some glamour. So with the matte black shadow, I'm going to map out a wing and sort of have it go directly back into my crease, and then also have it go along my lash line as eyeliner, and I'm going to add a little bit more definition to the brow bone as well with this, and just really start working on details for the look. Bring on the glitz and glam. With the setting spray, I'm going to go ahead and pick up a pearlescent eyeshadow pigment and put that all over the eye area, and I'm definitely packing on that highlight underneath the brow bones and the other typical areas because being half dead doesn't mean that our inner glow still can't come through. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a liquid liner to line my eye and also use this on fine detail areas. Because it's a liquid liner and the tip is so precise, it's going to give you the best results for this. Switching back to the angled brush and black shadow, we are going to go ahead and add some definition and roundness to our teeth. And to do this, you really just want to make little Y designs, and that's really going to help give you that tooth-like shape. You also want to make sure that you're using a light hand here because you don't want these lines to be super dark and defined. All that teeth whitening paid off, so to show that, I'm going back in with the white cream product and just really packing it on to make the teeth look super opaque as if they were repeatedly whitened over the years. When I said glam skull, I meant glam skull. So of course we're going to contour and add blush. In retrospect, looking back at this, I would have used a gray shadow to contour instead of the taupey ash color because I just personally didn't like the way that it turned out. And then I really wanted my blush to stand out, so I used a super bright peachy pink blush for this. And by the way, it's really funny when your fiance comes home and goes to greet you and then is just surprised that you have half a skull on your face. It's all about the details now, so whatever your little heart desires at this point, and I'm adding a shadow to the orbital bone along with working on other areas of my face to get the three-dimensional effect. And more detail work, I also added more of that pigment to my lower lash line and mascara as well. And this concludes the skull look for now. Moving on to our regular face, again, you just really want to do things heavier as you normally would. So if you don't normally define your brows as much, you can make those a little bit more bold to balance out the other side. You want to go in heavier with the contour, heavier with the blush, and of course, heavier with that highlight if it's even possible for you. But you just really want to focus on intensifying everything on the more normal side of your face. For eyes, it is all up to you, but I chose to go with a smoky eye, so I'm using a light brown and transitioning that into a darker brown. And blending is very important as in any smoky eye, and I also chose to go ahead and really smoke out the lower lash line because again, you want to make sure your look is balanced. And I also decided to mock the pearl pigment that's on the skull with adding a gold pigment onto the glam side. For liner, I just kept it simple. You can totally wing it if you want to. And then I just added mascara, tight lined, and then I wanted to add a super dramatic flared out lash for the skull side because I knew it would stand out the most. And then I wanted something a little more flirty, so I put a different lash on the glam side. I went with a fuchsia lip to stand out, and that is it, you guys. So as you can see, beauty really is timeless here. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!